I got to start this podcast off with a quick mini apology. I feel like, and maybe this is just what I feel and not what you feel or what's actually happening, but I feel like I've been slipping on the pod lately over the past couple of months. There's definitely been weeks where I missed uploads, and that literally never happened before, including this week. Like, this episode is going to go out on Wednesday. Here I am on Tuesday evening actually recording this, and I committed to doing one episode a week every week, and I'm on pace for that if you average it out. But there's been weeks where I missed, and especially a little bit lately. Not that anything's happening, just busy with clients, with in-person clients, with online coaching clients, getting the 10K Steps Challenge up and running, which we're in the third iteration of that. I don't think I've even really ever talked with it on the pod here, the challenge. But anyways, getting that up and running, and so there's a lot of work, and these things, taking care of my people, takes precedence over this. I love the podcast so much. Don't get me wrong. I love the podcast. Not going away. Don't worry about any of that. But being really real, I don't make money off the podcast. I haven't accepted any sponsors. There's people who have reached out, and it just doesn't seem like the right route that I want to go down, and I'll never say never. So maybe something in the new year, we'll see. But it's not something I'm really looking forward or actively pursuing. But anyways, when you're juggling a bunch of things, there's always got to be something that's going to drop. That's the least important. That's the least urgent. That's the least, well, whatever ranking system it is that you want to use. And sometimes lately for me, that's been the podcast that's just been slipping. Not slipping so far, but maybe there's a good analogy of fitness in here where it's like, hey, I maybe haven't been perfect the past couple weeks or a couple months, but still pretty good. Like, I'm still on pace. I'm still putting out episodes. I'm trying not to. I've been doing more solo episodes, less stuff with guests, and that's slightly intentional, but slightly just a circumstantial thing. But it's still getting done. We're still checking the box. We're still getting the job done. Still putting out good quality episodes. I hope so. Anyways. And, sometimes in fitness, you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be totally on your game, but you get the job done. You check the box. You do what you can. You keep going. And as long as you don't stop, you will still have some forward momentum to keep you rolling. So take that for what it is. But know that this is all happening very much with my eyes open. I'm aware of the pacing and of all of the things that are happening with this, but I really love this podcast, and the more people I talk to about it and the more other podcasters and stuff that I speak to, I really realize that I'm very much on the right path, and this is a little bit more of self-reflection. I will get into the actual episode in a second because this is going to be a shorter one-ish, hopefully, maybe. We'll see. I always say that, and then it's like 45 minutes long. I spoke to someone recently who's like, I don't know how to really describe it, but a podcast like coach of some sort. To their company like helps other people like market their podcast. Or I met this guy at a conference, and I don't really know what their company does, to be honest, but something with like is helping people with their podcast, something like that. And it ended up that like I was giving him more ideas than he was helping me with, and I was like, oh, that's interesting from a whole like coaching coaches and like business coaching thing, which you guys know I have a huge gripe with that and wasting money on that, which maybe I don't think I've really told the full story of that, but on the podcast here anyways. But it just blows my mind sometimes. But I was like, I literally know more about all of these things than you do. So that was interesting. But on the personal side of it was like, I'm heading in the right direction. People who are like doing that as their own thing and like tapped into many other people's stats and goings on of things. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. And so that's nice for me, but you don't care about that. You just care about me putting out good stuff that's going to help you, as you should. And so just know that I'm committed to continue to do that. There's just some bumps in the road, but they're all good things because I'm just busy helping my people, and those people are always going to come first. It's not just about paying the bills. It's just like, someone's paying me to coach them. Like, obviously that is the thing that I do. The podcast, if it ever makes money through sponsorships or through something, cool. If not, that was never the intention, so it is what it is. It's a bonus if it ever does, but all of this is to put out helpful information to help people. And then so when people are reaching out to me and saying, hey, please help me, obviously that is going to be my priority number one. And so I've been busy with that, which is excellent, but that is the primary reason why things have been slipping a little bit here, but we will pick it back up. And I will stop rambling about that now and get in today's episode. So if you're a regular listener here and you follow me on whatever, I'm not sure exactly what the title of this episode is going to be, but it may include the word hacks, and that's just playing the game of social media. These are not hacks, and there are no secrets and shortcuts and whatever, and I wasn't trying to trick you. These are going to be a few random, like, weird things or hacks, if you will, that things that I personally do, things that I do in the gym that work, and they're not like secret supplements or anything like that. They're just like, you'll understand when I kind of get through them, weird little quirks and stuff that I do that make my workouts either more efficient or just better for myself or more enjoyable or something of that nature. Now, all of these things are not necessarily things, except for maybe a couple of them. They're not all things that I would say, like, you must do it. They're obviously not must-dos. They're things that I do, and they help me, and they work for me. And so take what you will, and then make it, apply it to your own training and your own situation. Thing number one, and this one is for sure a must do. You all must do this. And I put this number one because it is absolutely not weird, and it is absolutely not a hack, but it is weird and a hack in the sense that I see so few people doing this that it feels like I'm the odd one out for doing this, and that is doing a warm-up for your workouts. I know. Boring and extremely effective. Very on brand, actually, if you will. But yeah, guys, like, we need to be doing warm-ups. A warm-up for your workout doesn't need to take 27 minutes long and have 38 different exercises and mobility and making love to your foam roller and a band for 100 things. Like, you don't need to do that much stuff. My warm-up routine takes like 5 minutes, maybe 4, somewhere between 4 and 6 minutes, I'd say. And it's just a few quick dynamic stretches. And then, something to actually warm up my body, so get the blood moving. So that could be some sled drags, light sled drags, a little bit of bike, a little bit of walking, like 2 minutes, a couple dynamic stretches, some like hip and spine and shoulder rotations, depending on what I'm doing that day, and then that's it. And then I get into my first exercise, and I'll do like warm-up sets of that exercise. But I see people just like every day, just they get in the gym and they just go into their first working set, and these are not beginners. Beginners are doing that, it's a little bit different. But and I don't think it's a good idea. But just that the weight is not that heavy. People who are like even intermediate, where it's like a decent amount of weight, and you're just getting in there and ripping it on the first set, like doesn't make sense to me. One, it's not effective, and two, like your body's not ready for that. It's not effective, and you're more likely to get injured. There's nothing good is coming from that. And so I don't know. I don't know why more people don't warm up. Like, it's slightly annoying, I guess. It's a quote-unquote waste of your time if you view it that way, but like only if you view it that way. I view it as like a massively positive thing and makes my workouts way better, and like I will never skip the warm-up. No matter how tight on time I am, I'm not skipping the warm-up. It's a ridiculous thing to do. I also will do, if I'm doing legs on that day, I'll do a bunch of other like kind of things for my knees, but that's a very like me specific thing. So my warm up on those days is a little bit longer. Just includes a few extra mobility drills and things like that, but just getting the joint moving, getting some blood in the muscles and the joints around my knees. Because my knees are so whatever, I just need to deal with them all the time because that's my life. But yeah. You got to be doing warm-ups. There's literally no excuse for it. And if you need a warm-up routine, like, send me a message. I'll send you exactly what I do. It won't make sense to just describe it. If you don't know the names of things, I can send you the videos and all that stuff. But the warm-up routine that I use is the warm-up routine that 90% of my clients use. And it works great. It improves your mobility and gets you ready for the session that you're about to do. It's the general part of the warm-up. The specifics are more specific to the person and like what you're doing that day and how heavy you're going and how intense the workout's going to be and all those things. But the generic part of the warm up stays the same. It's routine, gets your body ready, and then you can let it rip. So I don't know why people are skipping warm up so much, but if that's you, you need to stop doing that. Weird thing number 2. Okay, now it starts like these are just more stuff for me. This obviously you don't actually have to do this, but my workout playlist is the same, and it has been the same for like 6, probably more, maybe almost like 8 years. I think maybe I added a couple songs like maybe 5 years ago, but like really it's exactly the same. And the reason for that is, 1, like I just like it, and 2, I don't really listen to those songs outside of working out, and so those songs on my playlist, on my workout playlist, are like they kind of like getting me in the zone. Like, so when that music comes on, when those songs come on, when those artists come on, not the artists specifically because I'll listen to their other music, but when those songs come on, it's like, oh, okay, it's go time. So it's part of the routine. It's part of getting me in the mood, especially if I, on a day where I'm, not loving the gym and not super fired up, I get that playlist on, and it's like it helps me switch into workout mode, so to speak. So I find that super helpful. I know that other people obviously are like, need to listen to new songs all the time and different types of music and things like that. Obviously, there's no right or wrong answer here, but this is just what I do. So maybe it's a little bit weird, but I think it helps me a lot because it just gets me into that routine and helps me to get into the headspace that it's time to work out, it's time to focus and lock in and bang out a good session. So that's a good one for me. Another weird one, or the next one that I'll go through here, is, I don't know how to describe this really, but like feeling the weight out on a heavy set. So I talked about the warm-up sets. So if I'm doing squats, for example, I'll do my general warm-up, I'll do my knee specific stuff that's like a little bit more for me, and then I'll go and do a set of like 8 to 10 with just the barbell. And so that one is still part of like feeling the weight, where I just need to feel the barbell on my back with no weight, feel the movement, like just do a few and then rack it that way. Okay, I can feel what my body's feeling. Does something else need a little bit extra love? Does the knees ready to go? Whatever it is. Okay, then I can add some weight. Do a couple sets of that, add some weight, do a couple sets of that, and I'll do like 2 to 4 warm-up sets, depending on how heavy I'm going on that day. But on the final one, and they'll be decreasing. So the first set will be like with one plate, and I'll do probably, again, 8 to 10 reps of that. And these are not like, this is not 8 to 10 reps to failure. This is just like, again, feeling it out, get them blood pumping, whatever. Then the next one, I'll probably put like a 25 on, so it'll be 185, and then I'll do probably there's like 5 reps of that. So again, not super heavy, not going to failure, just like feeling a little bit more weight. Then I'll go with another 45-pound plate, so 225, and then from here I might, again, depends how high up I'm going or whatever, but I'll do like 2 or 3 reps, so it's getting less, but again, not to a point of failure. Then when I'm at my working weight, and this is what I meant, when I'm at my working weight, I'll do another warm up basically at my working weight, or like just underneath it, like 5 or 10 pounds underneath it, but I'll do a single rep. So say like my workout is like whatever, it's 5 sets of 5 or something like that, pretty standard rep scheme. For the last warm-up set, I'll take whatever weight I'm working at, say it's 225, doesn't matter, and I'll just do a single rep of that. Because I know, like, if I'm going to do 5 sets of 5, like, I know that I can, like, 1 rep is not, it's not like a 1 rep max. If I was doing a 1 rep max, obviously I wouldn't do this. It doesn't make any sense. But if it's more than that, I'll take the working weight, and I just need to feel it. And this is like a psychological thing more than a physical thing, is I just need to feel the weight on my back, or if it's a bench press, kind of same setup, I need to feel the weight in my hands. If it's a deadlift, I need to feel the weight like in my hands, on my shoulders, like in my back, whatever exercise it is. And this is only really applies to like big, heavy kind of main exercises of the day, compound lifts, shoulder pressing, barbell rows, things like that. But I just need to feel one. And sometimes I don't even actually do a rep. I'll just like unrack the bar or the dumbbells or the machine or whatever it is. Where, again, if it's a squat, I'll put the bar on my back and I'll unrack it. I'll step out and then just kind of like shimmy a little bit. I'm not bouncing with heavy weight on my back. That's stupid. But I'll just kind of like feel it a little bit and then I'll just put it back in. I won't even do rep. And for me, this has always been like it kind of flows after the warm-ups. Like the warm-up gets your body prepared, but then the first set is oftentimes like the first real set is sometimes still feels like a warm-up. And especially when you're going heavy, to me, it was all, I don't remember when or how or why I really made this connection for myself, but it was like the weight was surprising. And maybe it was when I was like really pushing, going up in weights like more often or at a time when I was doing that. And the first set, you take the bar off and like the first thought is not like your regular cueing sequence of the exercise. The first thought was like, what the heck, this thing is so heavy on my back. Like that was a thing. And so to get over that, I just put it on my back again, bench press, unrack it, have it in my hands, and I just feel the weight. So my brain connects like, okay, that's what it's going to feel like. I know that I can do it. And then from there, I'll put it back down, wait another 30 seconds or whatever, and then I'll get into my actual first set. And then that way, when the first set starts, there's no like brain signaling weird stuff going on where I'm like realizing what the weight feels like. I can just focus on doing my reps. And that is a maybe slightly weird thing, slightly like in my head thing that I use that really works for me. I see no downsides to it, of course. And something that might help you is just like really taking your warm-ups a little bit more progressive and using them to feel the weight to get your brain ready as well as getting your body ready. And this is especially more important when you're lifting heavier and with more intensity as you continue to progress in your lifting career. So give that a go. The next thing that I've been doing more lately, and this is not that weird in the grand scheme of things, but I just see very few people doing this ever, is I've been training. I've been like twice a week. I've been doing a couple sets of neck curls, and partly because like I feel like having a bigger neck would be like look cooler. So for whatever that's worth, you're allowed to like do things like that. That's okay. And two, and this is why I really actually started doing it about maybe like 10 months ago, something like that. Maybe a little bit more than that. Maybe almost a year ago, actually. I sit at a computer a fair bit of time. Like, yes, I'm training clients, but like the days where I'm not training clients, the way that I have my like life schedule sorted is like I have days where I'm training clients in person. I have days where I'm kind of like home or only have like one in-person session where I'm like handling my online people and doing that and doing content and podcasts and those kind of things. But those days, I'm sitting at a computer all the time, and many of you probably have a job where you sit at a computer. And so I get my forward head posture. If you're not watching the video, like I'm just hunching forward, like the hunched forward head posture, that kind of stuff. And I realized that by doing like a few neck curls and extensions, it actually started helping with the like any little neck pain or just like tightness or just like kind of posture. It improved a little bit. Which makes logical sense, right? You're overstretching a muscle that's relatively weak. Like you don't really use your neck for anything. It's not like I'm wrestling or doing something where my neck would naturally get stronger, other than just like squeezing it normally from like deadlifts and stuff. But so actually doing like some direct neck work has been like pretty helpful from a neck pain and neck feeling perspective. And I like to think my neck's gotten a little thicker, but I don't know if it has, if it really has. But that's a secondary cool factor on like a, I don't really want to go into this too much, but like when you're wearing a t-shirt, you can see like your neck and your traps. And so from an aesthetic perspective, like having not a gigantic neck, but like not a skinny neck makes your whole physique look bigger, and stronger, more powerful. So total aside, but for anyone else, like your neck is not going to accidentally get big if you train it. So don't worry, especially it will be a thing that many women, unfortunately, would be against. Training your neck, you don't get big by accident. You don't do a couple neck curls and then just get a gigantic neck like a football player. You'd have to do a lot of stuff to get a neck that's that big, and you're not going to do those things. So I think that most people would find value in this, especially if you sit at a desk, especially if you're on your phone a lot or you're on your computer a lot for any reason, and you have any type of neck pain or tightness, or you find yourself like, trying to crack your neck or like stretch your neck or whatever. Get in the gym and add and this takes like literally an extra 5 minutes. The way that I do it is I use a kettlebell, use a towel from the gym, and I just like lay on a bench with my head off the bench, put the kettlebell right on my forehead, and then I just curl my neck, and then I'll flip around, put the kettlebell on the back of my head, hold it with my hands, obviously, and then do neck extensions that way. Start super light. If you do this, please, very, very light, and then work your way up. You obviously can hurt yourself. You're not trying to be a hero. You're trying to like just get some function through your neck, and it's the same principle really as like any other injury kind of thing, where it's like if you don't use it, it's not going to be like weak things hurt kind of thing. So if you never train your back for some reason, you're going to have issues with your shoulder, and you're going to have pain in your back. And if you ever train your legs, you ever train your knees or squats or any knee bending stuff, well, you're eventually going to have pain in that area and dysfunction. And so the neck is really no different. There are joints in the neck. It does a lot of movements. It's kind of always active. It's just a neglected thing because it doesn't fit into like, upper body push, upper body pull. It doesn't fit into that kind of thing. But I do them twice a week. You can do them once a week or whatever. Start very light. You can even literally just do it at home by like pushing against, again, if you're watching the video, like you can put your hand against your head and you can go sideways, forwards, and backwards and just like provide isometric resistance against your hand. That works really great as well. So give that a go. I think this one is worth trying, but just please start very light and be careful. Don't try and be a hero on this. Not that it's, for what it's worth, I'm using like a 35 to 40 pound kettlebell depending on the day. And not that I'm some, the beacon of strength, but like I've been regularly doing it for about a year, and like that's where I'm at. So don't pick up a 45 pound plate and start like head smashing it. Like that's not like start with pushing into your hand or a band, or maybe like 5 to 10 pounds. Start there, feel it out, and then you can always add weights, but you can't unhurt yourself after you hurt yourself. So please be careful. Another thing. See, we're 25 minutes in. I've got a few more things on the list, and I said it was going to be quick, but it's not going to be that long. This is one that I've implemented probably about a year ago as well, a year and a half maybe, or the last little bit. And I do this with a lot of my clients now as well for the same reason, is when you're picking your rep ranges, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, I'll opt for picking odd numbers. So you have to round up. So if it's 8 to 10, you're aiming for 9 to 11. And the reason being, and I've said this many, many times, but like your body can't count. Your body doesn't know, your muscles don't know the number of reps that you've done. It knows how hard you've worked. But we as humans, we can't conceptualize that as well. It's very difficult. That's why we invented, that's not why we invented numbers, but like we have numbers and we use them in exercises, and that's why we work off of rep numbers. However, we know that the truth is about how hard your muscle is working. So it's extremely unlikely, almost impossible, that we are able to select a weight for a given exercise that we can get to 10 reps or any number of reps. And we use even numbers because I don't know why. We just use even numbers because it sounds nice. It feels good. I'm not sure why. There's some psychology thing there that I'm sure someone way smarter than me at this stuff could explain, some psychologist, but we like even numbers. You flip to an odd number, all of a sudden you're getting an extra rep because you were aiming for 11 and you squeezed out 11 instead of you were aiming for 10 and you failed, quote unquote, at 10. If you were aiming for 11, you probably would have got 11 too. It's a weird phenomenon where like we meet our expectations. Our expectation is 8 to 10. You get to 10, but you really think that you like pushed your hardest. Well, what if we just change the goal to 9 to 11 and you all of a sudden you get 11? Well, you did one extra rep. And so is it that you couldn't have done it before? Or is it just that this psychological barrier of aiming for 8 to 10 was the thing that was keeping you at 10, and it did feel hard and you weren't lying to yourself? But by changing the goal, we can actually get more out of you. And then therefore better training and better results, and that's really the name of the game. So I've been using it for myself. Seems to be good because you kind of can squeeze out a little bit more. Seems to be good for a lot of clients as well. Just making better progress and their lift numbers are going up and stuff like that. So little tweak, but like eventually it would stop working for the exact reason why it works in the first place. So then you'd have to like cycle back to measuring your reps in even numbers, and then you'd have to round it up again, which would be like a whole upward shift. So you'd have to keep tricking yourself into thinking it. Another analogy of this, I didn't even write this one down, but like for people who get freaked out about the scale and weighing themselves on the scale and getting attached to the number and self-worth in the number and stuff like that, small tweak but really works is to switch the setting on your scale to weigh yourself in kilos instead of in pounds. And if you're a person who uses kilos, then do the opposite, switch to pounds. And the reason is because when you see a number of kilograms, I know that I think like this because most people who grew up with pounds instead of kilos think like this, is that if I see 50 kilos, I don't really register what 50 kilos is. The thought process is, okay, it's 50 kilograms. Kilograms to pounds is 2.2. 50 times 2.2 is 100 and change. Like that's the thought process that I go through. And I'm sure that many people go the same. And so you don't have as much like value placed in whatever the kilos on the scale are going to say. Now, eventually you'll start to figure it out, and so you'll have to trick yourself, another way. But at least by get started, this can really help you until you work on the psychological aspect of putting self-worth or lack thereof, or not putting self-worth in the number on the scale. So that can really help as well. And it's for the same reason that I think the number of reps things works. By aiming for odd numbers, you're just able to like overcome your real or imagined ideas about what you should be doing or what you're capable of or whatever, and you're able to push a little bit more. So those two things combined are good little tricks and ones that I've been using with success lately. Two more things. There is in every gym, and sometimes you have to do this in multiple gyms, depending on. Anyway, most people are not going to multiple gyms. I think it's a good move if you have access to it. But in every gym, there is a best barbell, there's a best rack, there's a best bench, there's a best machine if there's multiple of the same machines. And there are better racks and better barbells for different exercises. For example, at the gym that I go to, which is Good Life near my house here, there's five squat racks. Like the last or the first one, the leftmost one, I don't even actually know why, but like that one is really good for doing squats. And the one that's the third one right in the middle is like great for shoulder pressing. And I don't know why. There's something about the angle, the space, the I don't know. I don't know what it is, but like there are little things. And you go to a gym long enough and you like progress enough, you'll find like if you use all the barbells, you're like, yeah, that barbell, the grips are just right. It's not, especially this more commercial gyms where like some of the bars and stuff are like broken, like they're literally curved, and so you pick up a bar and like this feels weird, and then you look at it and it's like curved, and then just like don't use that one. So not that, but sometimes you'll find a bar that's like, okay, the knurling on this one is just right, or the feeling of it is like it just feels good when I do. It's like really good for squatting, but like I don't really feel like it's good for bench pressing. And this is separate from if you go to like a really good gym where they have an actual squat bar or an actual deadlift bar that are like the properties of those barbells are slightly different that are advantageous to those exercises. But I'm not using those, and most gyms don't have those things. Most like commercial gyms don't have those unless you're at a powerlifting gym. But yeah, it's okay to like finagle your workout around and like use the specific bench that's good, use the set of dumbbells that's good, use the machine on the left instead of the machine on the right because it just moves a little better or whatever it is. And even if it's not real, if it's not a real thing, like for me, that the squat rack that's all the way on the left, I don't think there's anything real about why. It's obviously not different. It's just a rack. The rack doesn't even do anything. It just holds the weight. But something about that setup for me just feels great. So if I get in the gym and I'm squatting that day and that rack is open, I'm picking that one 10 times out of 10. If it's not, then I'm not going to, stop my workout or not work out if I don't have that rack. It's not that big a deal. But something about routine, something about the feeling. And so, if you find those things that are like, hey, you like those ones, then that's okay. And like lean into that a little bit because it makes yourself a little fired up. And so when you do get the right rack, use that and like let that little fire up that workout a little bit more. This goes across gyms too. If you're so for me, like the gym where I train clients at is different than where I work out at, and like I'm in a couple different gyms and stuff. And so if I'm working out in a different gym, I'm like, okay, I don't, I really like a machine at that gym, or really like this at that gym, I can't do legs at that gym because I don't like whatever they have, or I can't do back at that gym because they're missing this piece of equipment that I like. So you get a little picky and it's a little princessy, frankly, with some of those things. But if there's machines you like and equipment you like, let it rip. That's okay. Let it fire you up and let it feel good. Let it make you feel good and have a better workout with it. And the last thing related to what I was just talking about with equipment. This should not be weird, but it is in 2025, is sharing equipment in the gym. I don't understand this. I think it's a leftover from COVID thing, and people are like pretend germaphobes. And I say pretend germaphobes because people are like, they don't want to share because they say like, oh, you're like your sweat. It's like, yeah, but you touch all the other stuff that we all touch all the same stuff. Like if you were really scared of all those things, you would wear and this is the biggest one, you wouldn't wear like a sports bra or a tank top or anything where any of your skin was touching any of the surfaces. Number one, you would wipe down everything, and you would bring your own wipe and use disposable paper towel and your own cleaner from home. You would do that. You would wear clean shoes. You would wash everything. You would wash your hands every single time, and no one does those things. So this is why it's like a fake germaphobe thing. But pre-COVID, I remember this very vividly, and so do many others, that it was not weird to work in on a piece of equipment. You're doing lat pull downs, and you're there at the lat pull down machine, and I want to do lat pull downs. I'll walk over and say, hey, can I work in with you? And you would say yes. And it was never like a weird thing, unless you were like some circuit, something like, yeah, like I'm doing short rest periods. So like if that works for you, then that's okay. And that would be the only reason really. But even then, that was like so rare that never happened. And it would just like, yeah, that's cool. Work in with me. No problem. And now you ask someone in the gym if like you can work in with them. It's like, no, like I got 4 sets left. Like, okay, I didn't ask how many sets you have left. Like you're not doing 4 sets in a row. You're going to do a set. You're going to rest for a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it is. It doesn't take me 3 minutes to do one set. One set is like, whatever, give it 30, 45, 60 seconds, like for a full set. There's plenty of time for us both to do this, and there's no reason why we can't. Especially if it's a machine where it's just like pin loaded or something, you can change the settings so fast. The only place where this doesn't really make sense is like using a squat rack. If the two people using it are one, very different strengths, and two, very different heights. Like, I'm not that tall, so if someone tall was squatting and they were there before me, I wouldn't expect that, and let's assume that we were using the same weight, I wouldn't expect that we would be able to work in together, because we'd have to literally lower the barbell every time, and that's like kind of a hassle to do that in between sets. Although there's plenty of time to do that, it's more of a hassle. But if we were like the same height and using close to the same weight, where you're not loading and unloading several hundred pounds per set, you add a 5, take off a 5, something like that. Like, I'm doing my set, it's going to take me 30 seconds to do my set, and then I'm going to rest for 3 minutes or whatever it is. No reason that we can't share equipment, and again, especially on machines and like benches too. Like, you're laying on the bench, you're doing dumbbell bench press. Okay, then I can get up, roll my dumbbells to the side, and then you can do your dumbbell bench press. And then gyms just were so much more efficient and so much more friendly, but now I don't know. I think it's just a COVID leftover thing. I don't really know. It's really annoying though, frankly, because the gym becomes so much like, gyms are busy and that's fine, but gyms were always busy and it was never an issue. It was never like, oh, I got to wait in line for the lat pull down machine or for the leg extension or the hamstring curl or something. You just shared equipment and it was normal. And if you sweat on the thing, you just wiped it and then the next person went. Like, it's not that big a deal. We're wearing, I really struggle with this one because it's really very annoying. But yeah, like, if you guys are in these positions, I've not heard a good argument for not, other than like it's gross, and like objectively it's not, because again, just if you sweat, just wipe it. It takes 13 seconds and then you can go use it. So you're resting for a minute or 2 minutes. You take 13 seconds to wipe it, and then you still have 45 seconds at least to do your set before the next person goes, which is plenty of time to do your set. Most of the time at the gym is actually spent resting. You're not lifting for most of the time. So I'm getting excited now and ranting a little bit. But yeah, sharing equipment is a weird thing that I do. I will routinely allow people to work in if they ask me if I'm on something. Oftentimes they'll say, no, it's okay. And I'm like, hey man, or lady, that's up to you if you want to wait, but by all means, you can work in here with me, I'll change the weight. The one that was craziest to me, this happened last week actually, maybe 2 weeks ago. All the benches were taken. It was a busy time at the gym. It was like, I made the mistake. It went like 5:30, just the day got away from me, whatever. All the benches were taken, and there's one bench where like I kind of see the guy, he's like has the dumbbells on the bench and he's like standing beside the bench. And I saw him doing like lateral raises or something like lateral raises. And I kind of saw it, and I walked back, to the other side. Maybe someone else is going to finish, and I walked back, and I saw that he wasn't sitting on the bench doing bench press or skull crushers or anything like that. He was literally just putting his weights on the bench and then standing beside the bench and then doing lateral raises and then putting the weights back on the bench. And I saw this, and I, waited a little bit to confirm that that's what he was doing, that he's not doing something else and he's supersetting it, which that's totally fine if you're doing that. And I just went over and I said, hey man, and because I know that no one's going to like let me work in with them on the bench. Never happens. So I said to him, hey, are you using this bench? Is what I asked. And he goes, oh yeah, like I have my weights and I'm doing this. And I said, okay, but are you using the bench for your exercises? Like, or you just want to hold your weights? He said, oh yeah, for my back. I said, man, I will pick up the weights for you and hand them to you if that's your concern here. Like, if you're not using the bench, like it's busy, like don't use the bench at 5:30 to put your water bottle and your towel and put the dumbbells on, which weren't like super heavy dumbbells, and even if they were, that wouldn't excuse it anyways. That's how you break the benches if they were heavy, but they were like 12 pounds. I said, I'll pick up the dumbbells for you and give them to you so you don't have to bend over if you can let me use the bench. And he just, okay, sure. And I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever. Like, it's selfishness. It's now I'm getting now I'm ranting too much, but it's selfishness and it's a weird behavior. We need to be sharing the equipment and making the gym a good, welcoming, fun community environment like it was when I started going to the gym, and I'm sure it was even better before that. Makes me feel old saying these things, but like back in the good old days, everyone shared equipment, everyone said hello to each other, everyone worked in with each other, patted each other on the back, maybe not literally, but like, you fire each other up, give up props, and support each other, give pointers. Like it was fun. You had friends at the gym that you met and you didn't know their names, but you called them Big Dog, and you see each other getting better and you push each other, and that just doesn't happen anymore. It's a much weirder environment. So we need to bring it back to a little bit of community, and that starts with just being able to share equipment. One, for that reason, but two, it's just efficiency for workouts. Like gym busyness was never a problem until very recently, and it's because of this selfish kind of behavior. And it needs to stop. So weird thing, please share equipment. I said it was going to be quick. Here we are, almost 45 minutes. Man, some things never change, but this is why I love the podcast so much. Once I get going, I just can't stop. So thank you for rocking with me. Thank you for being here always. I appreciate each and every one of you. Like, share, subscribe. Got nothing else to say. Go outside. Be a good person. See you next time.